Hello everyone and welcome to Crafting with Delonda. It's me again, Delonda, and thank you so much for joining me today. In today's tutorial, I am going to demonstrate how to sublimate these Slate Coasters in the HTVRONT H17 phone case heat press or heat press phone case. I always get it mixed up. This thing right here. You're going to love it. I already know that. Let's quickly look at the materials and then we'll go into the lock leak software. I'll show you just how to size your image and then we'll get it printed and pressed. So for the materials, I'm using these Slate Coasters that I purchased from Michael's here locally. They came in a package of 2. And I'm using the H17 phone case heat press. I'll use heat resistant gloves. I'll use the sublimation film. My printer is an Epson EcoTank 15,000. It has sublimation ink inside. I do tape the film to just a plain piece of copy paper. I use double-sided tape to make sure it goes through. And I'll use the lock leak software to upload the image and get it printed just so I can make sure I'm printing the right size. Now, I'm personally going to print 1 at a time instead of trying to figure out the sizing for 2, but there are other videos with other content creators who have successfully, done 2 things at a time. I just prefer not to do that. So now without further ado, let's go into the lock leak software and then get our image uploaded and printed. I am in the lock leak software and these are the 2 images that I'm planning to use. I am selecting the HTVRONT H17 phone case heat press and I'm choosing the option for flat substrate, and I am going to look at my options to see which one matches the flat substrate that I'm using, and it looks to me that the option that will work best is the one that's for round coaster. And so I'm going to use that. I have the photo right there, the 2 photos that I'm planning to use, and I am going to make sure they are adequately covering the circle that I have, and I'll get them printed. Now, in the software, you are reminded to make sure that your image is mirrored before printing. And you also see that there's a line right there. There's a green line. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see that. What I'm doing is duplicating my photo so that I can have more of a background behind the photo. So where there's brick and it doesn't make the photo look too weird, I just copied and pasted the photo and then centered them horizontally and stacked it basically so that I have a little bit more wiggle room with the photo, making sure that everybody is in the circle and nobody's face is cut off. And then I did the same thing for the left and right, making sure my brother didn't have basically 3 arms and that my sister didn't have 3 arms. I just kind of add a little bit more of the photo on the side. I didn't want to make the photo wider or taller because I felt like it would have made the image distorted. And by doing it this way, you can't even tell. If I didn't show that I was doing this, I don't think anybody would have noticed that. Even that there's a double door at the top of the photo, you would not have noticed that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get the images printed and then get the machine prepared for sublimation. Okay, this is the back, or the shiny side of the film. There's a small piece of double-sided tape, and what I do is just tape it to a plain piece of copy paper, nothing fancy about it. And this ensures that it goes through my printer with no problem. Okay, so my printer is going to print on the matte side or the dull looking side. Let's get this put in the printer and let's get it printed out. Okay, so I have the plate inside already and it's heating up. I have the top and bottom temperature set to 285 degrees Fahrenheit for 325 seconds. In order to change the temperature, I will press the temperature option, and the first option will control the top plate or the top platen, and then if I press it again, it'll turn red, and that's for the bottom temperature. I want both of them to be on 285, so that's fine. And then for the time, I'm not gonna worry about the preheat, but for the actual time, I want it to be on 330 seconds. So I'll press that again. Okay, and I'm going to let this start to heat up. So I have it inside with the plate, and here is my first image. So I'll close this so it can heat up. And carefully remove that tape. It kind of preheat while this is also heating up. Now I'm going to put the film directly on top of the coaster and just let it get sublimated. And I'm making sure that the film is completely covering that whole rectangular space, and I'll press the R to get it started. There is a loud beep that's happening right now. I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone case heat press. I have my gloves on because I know this is going to be super, super hot. And look at how gorgeous this coaster is. It is completely sublimated. There are no white spaces. The coaster is completely filled in. Let's proceed with the next image. I have the coaster inside. That's the picture of my mom, my sister, and my brother. And I'm just going to follow that same process, and I'll let it go through. I do think the key is to let the blank heat up. Let it do a full heat up the whole time, and then add the film on top, and do your best to get it centered. I have found the most success by printing from the lock leak software. I feel like when I've tried printing from other places, I don't always get the image lined up nicely, and it's probably something that I'm doing wrong that I can work on, but that's just my 2 cents, and hopefully it helps you in some way. And my second coaster is finished. Look at how nice that is. I love this photo of us wearing blue. So this is the finished result, and I love these. Look at this. Look at that. Now these are still really hot, but when they cool down, I am going to put these little silicone pieces on the bottom, so they're actually coasters. So this is the other one of my mom and my brother and my sister. So hopefully you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please remember to like the video, hype the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications, because I do upload new content every single week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for watching. Bye.